In the quiet hours before dawn, I often find myself reflecting on the peculiar comfort we find in doing nothing. There is a strange solace in letting the world drift by, in watching the days slip through our fingers like sand. We fill our lives with routines, waking, working, scrolling, sleeping, each day a mirror of the last. The clock ticks, the calendar turns, and we move in slow, predictable circles. We are surrounded by warnings, alarms that ring, messages that flash, voices that urge us to change, yet we silence them, turning away, pretending not to hear. In relationships, we let words go unsaid, apologies unspoken, wounds unhealed. It is easier to accept the ache of distance than to risk the pain of confrontation. In matters of health, we ignore the subtle signs, fatigue, discomfort, a persistent cough, hoping that by doing nothing the problem will simply fade away. In society, we watch as injustices unfold on glowing screens, our empathy dulled by repetition, our outrage softened by distance. We scroll past suffering, convinced that someone else will act. Doors close quietly on opportunities. We hesitate, paralyzed by fear of failure or discomfort, and so we let chances slip away one after another. We convince ourselves that resignation is wisdom, that acceptance is strength. But beneath the surface, a quiet hum persists, a subtle ache, a sense that something vital is slipping away. The greatest threat is not catastrophe, but the slow erosion of our will, the gradual surrender to inertia, the normalization of decline. We are not undone by sudden disaster, but by the collective weary sigh of indifference, a resignation that echoes through empty streets and silent rooms, unraveling the fabric of our lives, one quiet moment at a time. Apathy does not arrive with a crash, but with a whisper. It seeps quietly into our lives, settling in the spaces between moments, numbing us to the world and to each other. It is the unread message left lingering, the phone call never returned, the friend we mean to see but never do. Days slip by and connections quietly wither. We ignore the warning signs, an ache in the chest, a letter from the doctor, a plant drooping in the corner, telling ourselves we'll act tomorrow or the next day. In politics, we turn away from the news, convinced our voices do not matter. We let decisions be made for us, content to watch from the sidelines. Dreams are quietly postponed, the book unwritten, the journey unstarted, the apology unsent. Clocks tick on, hands unmoving as we wait for the perfect moment that never comes. We pass each other on the street, eyes averted, lost in our own worlds. At dinner tables, empty chairs and silent glances fill the space where laughter once lived. Apathy is comfortable. It wraps us in routine, soothes us with distraction, and shields us from discomfort. But in its embrace, life's colour fades, and opportunities slip quietly away. The true danger is not a single moment of neglect, but the slow accumulation of inaction. One day we look back and realise how much has been lost, not with a bang, but with a quiet sigh. Let us pause to consider the sheer volume of challenges that fill our daily lives. From the moment we wake, we are bombarded by a relentless stream of information, demands and distractions. News headlines scroll endlessly across our screens, each one more urgent than the last, yet somehow blending into a background hum. We scroll through our phones, searching for meaning or escape, but find only more noise, more problems, more crises, more things to worry about. Our inboxes overflow, piles of unopened mail gather dust, and the weight of unanswered messages grows heavier by the day. We are surrounded by reminders of what needs fixing. Broken systems, social divides, personal struggles, yet we learn to look past them, to carry on as if nothing is wrong. The problems pile up, but we adapt. We normalize dysfunction, accepting the unacceptable as just another part of life. We build walls, sometimes literal, sometimes invisible, barriers that keep discomfort at bay and allow us to retreat into routine. The cycle repeats. Wake, scroll, ignore, adapt. The world's troubles become background noise, easy to tune out. We convince ourselves that someone else will act, that the problems are too big, too far away, or simply not ours to solve. In this way, apathy becomes a shield, a quiet resignation that lets dysfunction persist, unchecked and unchallenged. We adapt to the noise, the chaos, the constant sense of urgency, until it all feels normal, until we forget that it was ever different. The cost of this normalization is subtle but profound. a gradual erosion of empathy, a world where problems multiply and solutions seem ever more distant. Still we continue, distracted, disconnected and quietly resigned, while the barriers between us and real change grow ever higher. The world waits for us to notice, to care, to act. But for now, we drift in the quiet comfort of indifference, letting the noise wash over us. And so, the cycle continues, until we choose to break it. Beyond the noise of daily life, a quieter tragedy unfolds, one not of nature, but of the human spirit. It is the slow fading of meaning, the gentle extinguishing of connection and ambition. Conversations become hollow, words drifting without purpose, echoing in empty spaces. Passions once burning bright now flicker and die, replaced by a quiet resignation. Dreams dissolve into the background, their colours washed out by indifference. In the silence that follows, no one speaks up, no one tries, and the world grows dimmer still. We retreat into ourselves, letting go of hope, letting go of striving. The light of ambition dims, and the world is left with only the faintest memory of what once was possible. In this hush, meaning slips away, and the silence becomes our only companion. This loss is not loud or sudden. It is a slow, quiet unravelling of what makes us human. It threatens not our bodies, but our hearts, our hopes, our sense of purpose. When no one cares, the world grows colder, and the future more uncertain. As we let go of meaning, we dismantle the very support of our shared humanity. Our own future grows more precarious, not from disaster, but from the emptiness left behind. In the end, it is not catastrophe that undoes us, but the slow, silent surrender of caring. In our modern world, convenience has become king. We seek the path of least resistance in every aspect of daily life. We line up for fast food, eager for instant gratification, rarely pausing to consider the cost of our choices. Warning signs flash before us, notifications, reminders, alarms, yet we silence them, choosing comfort over action. We rationalize our inaction, telling ourselves that someone else will take care of it, that our small choices do not matter. Instead, we drift through routines, lulled by the glow of endless entertainment, content to watch rather than participate. The culture of comfort rewards passivity. We avoid discomfort, sidestep difficult conversations, and let opportunities for change slip quietly by. In this gentle drift, we become spectators to our own lives, mistaking ease for happiness and comfort for fulfillment. True growth demands effort, and meaning is found not in avoidance, but in the willingness to face what is difficult. Yet, for now, we remain in the embrace of convenience, drifting gently, hoping the world will not ask too much of us. There's a quiet comfort in believing that the world's problems belong to someone else. We draw invisible lines between ourselves and others, between our lives and the world outside. Headphones on, eyes averted, we pass by those in need, convinced their struggles are not our own. We scroll past headlines, close the door, and retreat into our private worlds. This illusion of separation convinces us that our actions or inaction carry little weight. But every closed door, every averted gaze adds to a growing distance between us and the world's shared burdens. The consequences are profound. Problems fester, communities fracture, and the sense of powerlessness deepens. We forget that the walls we build to keep problems out also keep us from making a difference. The illusion is comforting, but it is also a trap, one that leaves us isolated and the world unchanged. To break free, we must see ourselves as part of the whole, responsible, connected, and capable of change. Only then can we begin to heal the divides and face our shared challenges together. The true cost of apathy is not a sudden catastrophe, but a slow fading, a world where nothing changes and decline becomes the new normal. Streets once alive with possibility now echo with silence as opportunities slip quietly away, unnoticed and unmissed. In offices and homes, people stare blankly at glowing screens, numbed by routine, resigned to a world that asks nothing more of them. Time itself seems to stall, broken clocks, faded calendars, days blending into one another as hope quietly withers. Nature mirrors our indifference. Plants wilt in forgotten corners, statues crumble, and the world grows tired beneath the weight of neglect. Regret settles in like dust, quiet, persistent, and everywhere. We accept less, expect less, and call it normal. The greatest tragedy is not what is lost in a single moment, but what is surrendered day after day to resignation. This is the world shaped by inaction, a place where decline is accepted and the future is quietly mourned before it even arrives. Even in the quiet gloom, a faint glimmer remains. Change, though daunting, is not beyond our reach. It begins with a single decision, a hand reaching for connection, a light switched on in darkness, a letter written, a message sent, a small act of care that ripples outward. These gestures may seem insignificant, but together they can shift the weight of resignation. The comfort of indifference is easy, but the challenge of responsibility brings meaning and hope. If enough of us choose to care, even quietly, the world can begin to change. Hope is not loud, it is a whisper, persistent, waiting for us to listen and act. Imagine a world where, quietly at first, people begin to notice each other's needs, where a single act of kindness sparks another, and the greyness of indifference starts to lift. Doors open, literal and figurative, as neighbours reach out and strangers become allies. Each gesture, no matter how small, sets something in motion. Clocks, once frozen by apathy, begin to tick again. Time, it seems, is reclaimed as people gather, sharing ideas, building hope and working side by side. Hands join together, building something greater than themselves, a garden, a shelter, a future. With every effort, colour seeps back into the world. The change is slow, sometimes barely visible, but it grows. One person inspiring another, one community lighting the way for the next. As more join in, the world stirs with new energy. The silence of apathy is replaced by the hum of purpose, and the air fills with the colours of possibility. This is how decline is reversed, not by grand gestures alone, but by countless small choices, made every day by ordinary people who choose to care. The dawn of consciousness is not a sudden blaze, but a gentle, persistent light, growing brighter as more eyes open, more hearts awaken. All it takes is a willingness to see, to act, to believe that change is possible. The world is waiting for you, for all of us, to open our eyes.